Here we have some simplifying radicals, but we have operations in between them, like we have square root of 150 plus the square root of 243 minus the square root of 63 minus 2 square root of 75. So first of all, we have to have the same radical to add like terms. Like we have to have 3 square root of 3 plus 4 square root of 3. These are like terms because we have the same radical, so it'll be 4 plus 3 is 7, 7 root 3. Now, they're not the same, so if I had like 3 root 3 plus 4 root 5, those are not like terms. I cannot combine those together because they're different terms on the inside. So that's one thing that we have to have. Second, we need to simplify these radicals. So we need to simplify all of these radicals. So let's just go ahead and simplify the radicals and then see what happens. So what I'm looking for is just some perfect squares that I can pull out. You don't necessarily need to break it down into just like the largest perfect square, but with the number like 150, we know 150 has 25. Like that's 25 is a pretty easy one to find, especially with a number like 150. So we know 25 times 6 is 150. And even if you are like, well, I'm not really quite catching that, if you just do like 150 divided by 2, you get 75. And then you would say like, oh wait, 25 goes into 75, so let me just expand that back to 150. Like there's a lot of different ways you could do this. I'm not saying that you have to break it down by 25s, but 25 is a perfect square because 5 times 5. So then that way I know the square root of 25, square root of 25 is 5. So we'd have 5 root 6. So okay, so the square root of 150 is 5 root 6. And the reason it's 5 root 6, again, is the square root of 25 is 5. Square root of 25 is 5. And then square root of 6, I can't do anything with that. 6 is 3 times 2. Square root of 3 is square root of 3. Square root of 2 is square root of 2. So I have to leave it as the square root of 6. So first one done. Didn't mean to grab the whole thing there. Let me see if I could just... it's not letting me. Okay, we'll do square root of 243 right next to it. So I'll do square root of 243 right here. 243 is not as an easy one as like 150. 243, I'm not quite sure. Like if you're not quite sure, here's what you do. We know 243 is not even. It's not divisible by 2 because it's not even. So I can't do 2. So try 3 and then see if that's some sort of starting point. So 243 divided by 3 is 81. So boom. Perfect. There is a starting point right there. I could take the square root of 3. I could take the square root of 81. Square root of 3 is going to remain square root of 3. But the square root of 81 is 9 times 9, which is 9. So the square root of 81 is 9. So I'll get 9 root 3 there. Nice. So plus 9 root 3. And just looking at that, looking at 243, I'm not going to, I don't know, maybe you saw that instantly. But I'm not someone who's going to look at that and say like 81. Totally. I would have to mess around with the numbers a little bit. I know it's not even, so I'm not even going to try 2. So then I just jumped to 3. And then my next number, if 3 didn't work, probably would just try 7 or just try to break it down by some odd. But I'd say like I'd try 9 next, but if it's not going to work with 3, then it's not going to work with 9. So that might not be a go-to route, but you just got to just go through a couple things and see if we can get somewhere with those radicals. So there, all right, so there we go. So 243 was 9 root 3. 63, hopefully we don't have to really go too far on this one. 63 is 9 times 7. So the square root of 9 is 3. Square root of 7 can't do, so I'm going to have this as minus 3 root 7. And based on breaking these radicals, like just kind of looking at this, I'm not seeing a whole lot of simplifying going on right now. I'm not seeing. I'm just seeing a lot of breakdown in radicals, but in terms of actually simplifying the like combining, I'm not seeing anything yet. But let's see what this last one. 75, another one where we might not have to really think too much because 75 is 25. 25 times 3. So the square root of 25 is 5, and then we have the root of 3. Now here's what's we got to be careful here. You see how we have a 2 on the outside of that radical? Since the square root of 25 was 5, that 5 is being bumped out of the radical, which means I have to do 2 times 5 because this 2 is out here. So I have to multiply by whatever's being bumped out. And the 5 is coming out. Square root of 25 is 5, so I have to do 5 times 2. So this is going to be minus 2 times 5 is 10, square root of 3. So 2 times 5 was 10. And I'm getting the 5 again from the square root of 25 is 5. The 2 times the 5 is 10. And then that radical 3. Okay, this is actually looking good now because now we do have a little bit of some simplifying we can do. 9 root 3 minus 10 root 3. So I'll have 5 root 6, and then I'll just combine the like terms. 9 root 3 minus 10 root 3. I'll do it right here. So 9 minus 10 is what I'm doing. 9 plus a negative 10 is negative 1. So negative 1 root 3. I'll just write minus root 3 minus 3 root 7. And there is simplified answer there. We were able to combine this and this. And all I did is I did 9 minus 10. I'm just looking at the coefficients, if that's what you... I know I don't want to call them coefficients. I know some people have issues with that, calling coefficients in front of radicals. But the value in front of the radical, 9 minus 10 is negative 1. So we just get negative 1 root 3. But we don't necessarily need the 1 in front of the radical, so I'll just leave it like that. So 5 root 6 minus root 3 minus 3 root 7. So simplifying radicals and then combining like terms.